Hello, guys. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about what establishes art as a product, whether art is a product. So, I believe that art should be considered a product like anything else. Clearly, art is doing something unique compared to, uh, McDonald's made a cheeseburger cheaper and more available than anybody else, and that's what established their brand. And I suppose I could consider what I'm doing as the same, because I'm trying to make an affordable painting that maintains high quality standards while increasing the accessibility that most art doesn't have. Because art we may live in an age where anybody can make art. In the postmodern age, it seems like anybody can make art, and it can be qualified as art depending on if it meets the standards of a cabal of art insiders, curators, those types. So if they feel that you are expressing an identity or a belief system that jives with the political landscape that we live in, you'll probably find a place you'll probably find some success, or it's definitely likely, because a lot of what is determined as good or bad art is so murky and unclear, and a lot of what you see in a gallery or a museum wing has an identity or political bias, or it has an agenda, I should say. For instance, I was in the presidential portrait gallery last fall, and there was entire wings of presidential portraits, and then the final room, as you're leading your way. So you march through the history of our presidents and their portraits, and you wind up at the end with Bush and Obama, and you're immediately led into artwork that is stressing black identity and minorities in general. So you have the entire presidential portrait gallery just leading straight into a wing that is entirely based around minority identity and showcasing political figures who are minorities throughout history. And then there was an entire section on gay and transgender issues. And I can't say, I'm no expert, but that's commonplace, I believe. That's what postmodernism has done to the art world, is made it all about, it's all about identity politics, and I don't know, I think a lot of people can see through it. I'm not saying that those artists aren't skilled, but do they really deserve that kind of representation because of what group of people they're identifying with, and who they claim to be representing, or the belief system or the ideology that they're pushing out there? I don't believe they deserve more recognition than people who believe in craftsmanship and discipline and steady-handedness and brush quality, paint quality, canvas quality, the whole variety of materials. To make a truly process-oriented piece that doesn't, to make work about process is about making it a product. And I believe that art should be more towards the production side and the meaning side. I just think that we've gone way too far in the direction of meaning, and we need to pull back a little bit, because as important as social issues are, you shouldn't be given that kind of representation if your work is, your primary reason for putting your work out, the primary reason for accepting your work into into a space like that shouldn't be to promote a certain group of people in the art world. And that's the kind of inclusivity, that's the kind of broadening that postmodernism will bring you. So anyway, so part of it has to do with what postmodernism is. Part of it has to do with what postmodernism is doing to the art world, and that's why I believe that work should be about process, and it should be established in the the labor and the craftsmanship and the process should be considered more important. I mean, just the idea of objectivity in quality of art. We need some kind of metric to determine what makes good art and what makes bad art. And your political and ethnic identity and whose struggle you're trying to represent in art shouldn't be placed above craftsmanship and skill level in your discipline. And that's the world we live in today. And that's why I think a lot of people think of art as kind of a joke. I don't think art is taken seriously by most people. And that's changed quite a bit. It wasn't always like this. Postmodernism had a larger role in the past. I mean, modernism had a larger role in the past. Modernism was more like substantial in what it meant to. It was about progress in style. You have a lot of great teachers of art. You have like the artist's artist, the types who dig into the science of art, such as Joseph Elbers and Agnes Martin, I think is her name. This woman who, anyway, there just needs to be a returning to art that is about representing. That isn't just about representation and meaning and expression. I think all of those things have gotten pushed way above what really matters, and that's, does the art look good? Does it function well as art? Do people take it seriously when they see it? Is it just about punching you in the gut, or is it about stimulating your photoreceptors and your optic nerves and stimulating you in a way that might even be subconscious? You can't really explain how colors react and why they're attractive. It's not easy, and some of it is cultural differences and things like that. But it's important to pull back from postmodernism a little bit, because it's taken control in a way where there's just not enough room for quality craftsmanship and composition. Like the skill needs to be brought back in, and I think that it requires some discipline in separating what is meaning and pulling away from the political agenda behind what art gets shown in what gallery. And I think it's all gone too far. I think that we need to return to some of the values that we had 50, 60, 70 years ago when modernism was in control. And it all starts in the art world. What starts in art seems to spread in other fields. I mean, it is remarkable how old some of these modernist pieces are, or even the first postmodern pieces of art. And if it starts in the art world via an art movement, it's going to spread throughout the world. And what's truly scary about postmodernism is just the fact that it doesn't seem to have a clear endgame, a clear objective. Like, when does postmodernism end? We've had endless art movements, but why are we still in postmodernism? Why does it seem like it's lasted longer than other art movements? are we just stuck in this limbo of lack of meaning, lack of skepticism and cynicism? Because that's what it seems like postmodernism is largely about, is how can I tear down old belief systems? How can I break down ideology and question everything? But only a child questions everything. What it means to really, you can tear down old belief structures, but what's more impressive is having a grip on your reality. It's far more stabilizing. You need to have, a healthy person has belief systems and doesn't just tear down everything that they see and everything that they were raised on. And I think it's important that we progress in what we believe in and not just break it all down. And that's what postmodernism seems to largely be about. And that's why my work is largely against that notion. So anyway, I appreciate you taking this time to hear me rant a little bit on the subject matter. So thank you very much.